Hey folks, welcome to the meeting. Oh, Lee just joined from his flight. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, just saw him there. He did freak me out for a second. I'm like, what is going on there? Okay, so I'm gonna. Okay, so here is the meeting minutes. Um, can you guys take a minute and actually fill up your names? I have copied it from the last week, so I'm not sure if all the members are here. And now, before I actually continue, I just want to ensure you guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah, all good.
Excellent. All right. So let's get started. These were some of the topics from last week, and then the demos. No, no. So let's do this. Let's put this towards the end and give the others a chance to present. And once they're done, we can probably circle back to you and go from
Yeah,
there.
perfect.
Awesome. So, who all have a demo for today? I know Nupur's demo was presented last week, and that was the last but one thing. And then Raj gave a demo on Litmus. Is there anything else you guys have to present today? I know Gunjan had something to present from last week. So Gunjan, if you're ready, we can probably give you the ball in the next few minutes. Just be ready. And actually, I have a demo which is actually the provider UI. I'm not sure if anybody has had a chance to look at it. If not, I can actually present it and probably I'll keep it to the last because I probably need only 2 minutes of everyone's time. But before that, let's get started with the topics. So, do we have any topics for discussion today? Of course, the multi-language support is something which Kanchan is going to be demoing now, hopefully. But other than that, do we have any topics for today?
Garisha, hopefully it's not too loud. Just quickly before the plane takes off, that the UEM J4 they messaged back saying that they're actually Anand or others might be able to update on this, but that they're ready to assign credit to students for the work being done here. So that's awesome. That's more than what I was hoping for. And so we'll get some papers signed and get an official program going between with the college. It's great.
Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. I think Ashish is helping with this as well, so he may have some details.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you for the support. Thank you for letting me join the meeting. I was so confused before, and I'm excited to contribute.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's good to see you, Durgesh. Very good. And then, actually, Durgesh, since we're just opening up the call, do you want to take a moment to introduce yourself? I'm realizing I'm actually yelling.
Yes, Lee. I'll take a moment to introduce myself quickly. My name is Durgesh Srinivas. I'm a master's student at Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas, and I'm pursuing MS in telecommunications and networking engineering. So we are majorly into computer networking as well as cloud computing. So which I'm very much interested in, and I'm excited to even code as well in Golang. I heard it's a exciting language. So yeah, this I can't express myself more than this, but yeah, it's an amazing opportunity. Thank you so much.
That's awesome, Durgesh. And yeah, very warm welcome to the community. We are very happy to actually have you here. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I'm not able to, switch screens between this one and the meet. So unfortunately, I'm not able to see all the other members who have joined the call. I think I've already shared the link to the meeting minutes in the chat. I'm going to do it again for a split second. So feel free to actually drop your information there, whether it be some information you want to share with the community, or
Give me just a moment.
yeah, no worries. Take your time. or if guys want to actually bring some topics for discussion, or you guys want to demo something, you are welcome to actually enter anything in that document.
Okay, I hope.
Sorry, you were saying something, Durgesh?
Hello, I hope
Yeah.
you guys are able to hear me.
Yes, we can. Can you hear us? Durgesh, can you hear us? All right. I'm not sure, if he's able to hear us. Maybe we even might have lost him, because I don't see his video moving fast enough. I see a lot of other faces, which is just very nice. We see our usual people here, like Ashish, Anand, Dheeraj, Ganjan, Nuno, Shubham. Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys, for joining today. And I see some new guys like Vijay, and of course, Durgesh. So it's fantastic to actually have new members join. Vijay, have you actually joined this call before?
No, this is my first time.
Awesome. Do you, I mean, let's take a moment to introduce yourself. I'm pretty sure, the community will be very excited to have you here. So do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Well, you already know my name. So, actually, I once worked in Lee's team at Cisco, and so I just joined here. I think a week ago. I'm still new, but I went through some of the documentation on your site, and I downloaded and installed the Meshery and things like that. I'm going through these books and trying to catch up and see what is going on and try to understand these things.
Marvelous. That's perfect. This is great. Very nice to have you here, and also nice to hear that you're from Cisco, which is awesome. So this is great. So Vijay, do you have anything else to share with the team?
Not at this time.
All right. No problem. No problem. That's awesome. Yeah. So please feel free to give Meshery a try, and the community here, is very helpful. So if you have any issues, or if you run into any issues, have any questions, feel free to actually drop that in the Meshery channel in the Layer5 Slack, and I'm pretty sure, either me or Lee or someone else from the community will be very happy to actually help you, get past your issues, if any, or if you have any questions. Again, please feel free to use the channel for anything, so that it'll be a great discussion.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Other than that, I think these were some of the things which Lee already spoke about, in last week's call, which is. So this week, Lee is actually, or Lee was at the Thoma Bravo Summit. He's on his way back to Austin. I'm not sure, I'm pretty. He presented Meshery at several places. I even think, he gave a meetup talk last night with Meshery, where he met Sako, one of our old members. So other than that, I think, you guys already know that, some of our some of the abstracts we had submitted for KubeCon EU have been selected. So so Meshery will be presented again at KubeCon EU this year. And other than that, so we have some workshops lined up, which is for the O'Reilly Infrastructure and Ops 2020 and the OzCon 2020. So both, we have a confirmed workshop happening. And apart from that, there is going to be a O'Reilly online training, which is happening, I think, next Monday, which is the Feb version, and I'm not sure about the date in April. So we have quite a few presentations lined up for presenting Meshery on big stages. So I'm pretty sure Lee touched this last week, but just to keep the team informed, I just have this here. Other than that, for the topics for discussion, Lee already gave a very nice or he shared very good information about the UM Jaipur. Just to give some context, with the rest of the team members here, apart from the UM Jaipur people here, we as part of Layer 5 have been collaborating with UM Jaipur because we have quite a few students from UM Jaipur participating in the project. So one of the things we've been working with them is actually to kind of get something formalized. And just recently, Lee actually said that we heard back from them, and so they are soon going to be getting some papers ready, and we're going to get things signed so that students will, I think, start getting some credits for their work in this project. So that's going to be very exciting. So hopefully that will actually bring more students, and it'll again be on the shoulders of all these great folks from UM Jaipur to actually bring more students and and get them credits for working on the project, and also help move the project faster. So that's going to be phenomenal. Other than that, I think this topic has already come for discussion, which is actually the multi-language support on Layer 5. And I think there was a question which was raised by Lee recently, which is once I'm not sure if it's landed. I'm going to leave Gunjan to talk about it. But once that's landed, we can probably think about should that same support be added to Meshri.io site. So that'll be a great thing. So, but in general, if you have any views or thoughts in this direction, feel free to actually bring it up for discussion, and let's go from there. And just to mention, Lee is on in the flight, so he's on mute, but he's chatting in the in the Meet chat. So feel free to actually keep an eye on the chat messages because he might be addressing one of you guys. So and hopefully you guys can take it from there. Now, jumping on to the demos, is Gunjan on the call? The first things first. Yeah, hey, Gunjan looks like he's on the call. Hey, Gunjan.
Hi, sir.
Hey, are you ready for presenting the multi-language and tags? A thing you wanted to present last week?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's fantastic.
Sir, so first thing, sir, I was working on the those GitHub action issues. So I want to show that thing first.
Awesome. You know what? Yeah, feel free to grab the ball. I just stopped presenting. Yeah, go.
Yes, sir. I
Go
want to
grab the
show.
ball.
I want to show. Share my screen.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, can you see my screen here?
Not yet. There you go. It's coming up. Yeah, now we are.
Yes.
Now we can see a screen.
Okay. So sir, there's so many issues in the static check. So I solved most of them, and so in this part, so there's showing that methods on the same type should have the same receiver name. So this 10 problems here. So I want to know how to solve this. I solved all others, and the weight is green now.
Gotcha. You know what, Gunjan? If it is a debugging thing, let's do it towards the end of the call when we have some time. If not, we can actually take it offline, and I'll try my best to actually help you move this forward.
Okay, sir. Actually, there's some issue with my PC. So, sir, I don't think I can show other demos today because I formatted my PC yesterday.
Oh, I see. But I mean, okay, now you tell me if the multi-language support and the tags for categorizing Jekyll collections, has that PR been
Uh,
merged?
yes, sir. Sir, I can show that thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just go to Layer5.io and let's take a look at it.
Yes, sir. So, sir, in this section, there is a language section. So here you can see there are many flags. Like here is we have Chinese. Here we have Tamil. There's Spanish, Russian, Portuguese, and all other. If I click Tamil here, so whole page is translated in Tamil language,
Oh, that's marvelous. That's awesome.
and there's a Chinese also.
So, is this translating
Uh,
or is it transliteration, which is like just
Sir,
converting?
Yeah, sir, I didn't use Jekyll because there is some issue with Jekyll. I think so because when we are going to use Jekyll plugin, so we have to make all the post in other languages also. So I didn't use that solution in our Layer5 website. So I made it with Google translation.
I see. Gotcha. Cool. This is fantastic actually. So this is a great start. Like, yeah, I just need to actually check if it is really doing a translation, or is it like, is it like doing transliteration? I think that's I'm not, I hope that's the right word. Like, if it's transliteration, then it would just be, typing the English thing in the different language text, but it would not really be doing a translation. It'll be an interesting thing to know. But yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So, sir, right now I can't show my I can I can show my tag tag solution, block tag solution.
Sure, go for it. Gunjan. Right. I'm not sure. Like, what happened. Like, if I understood that right, like, I thought he was going to present the tags. Gotcha. That's interesting. All right. Like, while we wait for Gunjan, do you want to get ready for your demo?
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. I will try to be fast, just to avoid like taking too much time, like in the dev meeting. So what I will do is like I will just touch base quickly about what Synab is, and then I will quickly go to the Docker app. Okay.
Marvelous.
So Synab first, cloud native application bundle. You can find all the informations. I put already them in the meeting minutes. Synab.io. It will help bundling a lot of let's say how do you say cloud native apps, like it's called here, but like bundling all the components that it's needed for a certain application. In our case, we will see what they are. Like I said during the dev meeting, the Mesh CTL actually does kind of the mentality, or does a little bit of the work of what Synap is, because it is the process about deploying Meshry and adapters. And so thanks to the pre-work done, we are able now to actually leverage it and create the bundle from Docker app. So that's it. Like I said, it will be fast. So without further ado, let me switch. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, we sure can.
And what are you seeing?
I'm seeing you type something which says Docker app init Meshry app.
Beautiful. So it because I'm in another virtual desktop, so I was not sure that it was taking it. So perfect. So here, so I GitHub or git clones Meshry from GitHub, and then I run. That's why I have here the small comments, but I run this command line. Okay, so this command line, it will what it will do. It will actually generate some files. I will show them. For an application that will be called now Meshry app. Of course, in the future it can be called Meshry, just address itself. Like I said, what we are doing is like we will leverage the Docker Compose that exists already and Meshry CTL is already using. And then there's some description, and finally maintainer. For Lee, if it's still here, that's weird. I don't have his email address yet. How come? Okay, so I cannot see you, so if you're smiling, that's cool for me. Okay, let's just go back here quickly. And so once I generate it, so now I'm in Visual Studio Codes inside the GitHub Meshry clone. So here we have like 3 files that have been generated. The metadata.yaml, where you can see a version, the name of the app, the same description that I put, and then at maintainers, we can have several name emails below, okay? Then it generated actually the Docker compose.yaml. I just changed this one here already. So it was 3 at the initial, where it is here. The initial Docker compose is like this one, okay? And the one that was created, that's the only thing that I changed for now because that's a requirement for Docker app to work. But then, as you can see here, there's a lot of things that's, okay, are the same, right? So it's clearly the Docker compose back in here. Then finally, there's a parameters file. And so I already modified everything. So I will just fast forward now, Control Y. So I will redo all the change that I had in this file. So it will go fast. Sorry for that. Okay. So the file once transformed, what did it change? First, ports. Let me actually put this one here. I think I can do a side by side. Yeah. Okay. And let me Docker compose here. Good. All right. So ports, mesh reports. I will explain what it is. Volumes, I had to remove this one, the volume. Sorry for that, but I still need to work on that one. And then here we have like the port setup as it is, right? It's like hard written. Here it becomes a variable, a parameter actually. Okay. And the same goes for the labels watchtower that replace the whole watchtower enable equal true. All right. And you have the same here. So I have some steel ports, and I have some linker key, for example. By the way, all the adapters here are the same. Image, label, port, X enable. Okay. So now these values here, these parameters actually are set here. So again, fast forward. Okay. So you define, again, it's YAML, right? But you define your values. And you can define several values under like a top nodes. So like that, I could reuse, sorry, something that maybe will be easier to read, like linkerd.port and then linkerd.enabled, right? So that is the structure. Let me just close this one. So this is just a structure of a modified Docker compose file is working now with the Docker app. So now that we have that, let's go back here. So here, as usual, I already put all the, let's say all the commands, so it will be kind of fast, hopefully. So the first thing that I just need to show is like, I'm using Docker Desktop for Windows with the WSL backend. And my orchestrator is Swarm for time being. Okay. So if I do a Docker PS, I should not see anything. Okay. Now, what we want is to see the Docker app. So there's no applications deployed or installed in my computer right now. Okay. So if I do the same for the Docker stack, because it's leveraged it, I don't have any stack deployed either. Okay. Finally, if I have the kubectl here, you will see that it's a Kubernetes. The Kubernetes from Docker Desktop running, no modification whatsoever, and everything is running, and we don't see any meshery whatsoever around here. So let's get busy. The first thing I will do, so I will copy now because it will be faster. The first thing that we will do is like we will install based on my files in the Docker app directory, so an application called Meshery Swarm. Okay, so let me run it. It will create the network, okay, the services, and now you can see that Actually, what I did is like I disabled by default all the adapters. Okay, so now if I do a docker app ls, I will see that my application is here, and if I do a docker stack ps the meshery swarm, it will show me that meshery is installed the watchtower also. Okay, if I do a kubectl no docker ps, and now I can see that it's running. So if I switch, I don't have one. Okay, let me just run one quickly here. So if I do the localhost 981, here I am. Okay, so if I go here, I will select my kube config, and it's pingable. All right, so that's the first thing. So that's cool. But now remember what I said. I disabled everything. So first thing first is like, I don't know if it was on purpose, but it's really good to see that I cannot switch to anything because everything is disabled. Here, I cannot, let's say, I don't have any adapter. But that's the purpose of Meshery, right? It's to have these adapters. So my approach here was like, as you saw, let me just go back here. I have these enabled, and now we will see what is the power of this Docker app or this Synapse. Without any code change whatsoever here, what I will do is like, I will now upgrade my application, okay? And I will enable the Linkerd adapter. So you can see here that Linkerd has been created. Now it updates the other two services. And if I go back to my page here, I will just click the refresh. And mind here, look here at Measure Linkerd. Here we have the logo, and now the adapter is pingable. So we have like on and off adapters just like that. I didn't change any code, right? And now again, I cannot put console, not STO, but if I click Linkerd, now I'm inside. Okay, so I could add it, of course, so it will jump in a second. So I choose always Linkerd because it's the fastest, of course. Now, one thing while it's deploying, of course, I can do this time the kubectl get all dash all, and now we can see that Linkerd is being deployed. Okay, so normally, okay, it's initializing, but should be quite fast. Here again, it says that Linkerd is deployed. Normally, it's true. Okay, it's true, right? There's just an error with the Prometheus Linkerd image, but I won't go there now. Good, so we do have Linkerd, perfect. So it means that now I can simply install the books application, which will be really fast. And without going to the console, actually I will have to go to my local host, and I know that is the port 7000. Okay, so should be fast, I said. Okay, global answer, web app. No? Why not? Come on. Again. No, okay, but I don't know. It was working before, so weird. Yep.
Can you check the port? Because I mean, maybe you were using an old port last time. Can you check the port?
No, I deactivated everything, so it's here.
And you're using that port?
Yeah, it says 7000.
Okay, can
but
you
again,
try?
it's answering because it's getting me the internal server error.
Gotcha.
Right?
So something else.
Okay,
Oh, there
here
you
we go.
go.
Here we go. We don't know why. Okay, so Yeah. Again, it's recording, it's slower. All right, so we do have the book app. So see, it's like I didn't do much. No code change, no nothing. The adapter was not there. I enabled the adapter, and it's done. And this is what we call then the out of cluster, let's say, install. Okay. So to end now the demo, because I can. So let me just remove everything here. Let me remove also Linkerd, so it's cleaned up. Should be fast also. Just 2 seconds. All right. Okay. So let me clear it up. So now, last time. All right. So I don't have anything anymore. So I cleaned up my Linkerd install. You know what? Let me actually uninstall my app. Again, if I just do an ls, you can see here, right? So I'll do just the Docker app uninstall, and it was the Meshery swarm. Okay, so Meshery swarm was out of the cluster because it was reusing the compose file to install actually the Docker containers, right? So now, what if I write them? So what if I would install actually in cluster? And again, I'm not changing anything. I'm leveraging, let's say, Docker server, right, to create a new app. I could call it a Docker Swarm, but I call it Docker K8s. I'm telling specifically now, and that's important, that's the important part, that I want the orchestrator to be Kubernetes. And just to show you once again, remember, I set the ports, and Meshery here has also a port. So I can, at any moment, change simply the port. So let me just do this. Now you'll see that it will run it, done. So again, my Docker app ls will show something. If I do just Docker stack now, because remember my stack is on, or my context is on Swarm. If I do that, I could not see anything. So now I want to reference my great friends at Docker, Sylvain and Chris, that helped me throughout between Wednesday and today, right? So now if I just do the orchestrator all, we'll see that I have my stack on the Kubernetes orchestrator. Now, even funnier is like if I do the kubectl get all-a, we will see the Meshery actually being published also. And so let's go back here. See the port here. If I do a refresh, of course, it will not work. Okay? So now I need to switch to my port 9082, and again, so it can tell that I'm in cluster. So if I click here, Kubernetes, and again, I do have my things, or my adapters, sorry, disabled by default. And yeah, and I could like, of course, do the same as I did before, which is here, but this time let's put, oops, sorry, my bad. Sorry, it's me. Okay. I know what it is. Okay, let's do it again. All right. So I upgrade Meshery K8s application, and I set istio. So now if I do the a Docker app status about this application, it can show me like lots of documentation, like information, and more importantly, you can see like the parameters are actually all here. So what Sylvain told me, and the really incredible thing that Docker put in place is like Docker has something called the Docker app render. This will render actually in-memory Docker Compose file that is the one that will be like taken by the system, okay, by Docker to run it, okay, at the runtime. But my own Docker app had a bigger Docker Compose file, and you can see that simply here the things were disabled, okay, by default. So at any moment, that's why I could, without any code change, because the code is already there in a sense, I could like apply and enable the STO and everything. And again, if I go here, normally it's done. So if I do a refresh of this page, look at STO, okay, here it goes with the small, and I can ping it, working, can go here, and again, I can deploy it like normal mesh-free stuff. And that's the end. See, I was fast. And this second one is called in-cluster deployment. And the really incredible part for me working with this Docker app and at that moment was that I could like simply leverage what is already in place. Do I want to go out cluster? Do I want to go in cluster? And then I can just use the Docker app bundle. Next steps, Girish knows them well also, but a bundle in my computer is nice. The goal is like to have the bundle now in Docker Hub, actually, and you will be able to pull it and run it on your own also. Okay, so you will have the sources, of course, it's part of the GitHub. They will be uploaded beginning of next week. I just need to really ensure that everything is well. And then I will publish also this one, or I will ask Girish to publish because I don't have the access to Layer5, I guess. So, questions?
Great demo, Nuno. This is fantastic. I mean, yeah, you're pretty close. Yes. So eventually, like we will actually also hopefully switch mesh-free CTL to use Docker app rather than Docker Compose. So that'll be like a great improvement. And also, the good thing with Docker app and the CNAP bundle is that we would not necessarily just have to generate a Docker Compose YAML, but also I think the advantage with the CNAP bundle is that it can help you deploy it on Kubernetes and a lot of other cloud providers. So I think that will actually be the eventual thing where we will have the capability to dynamically generate the deployment information, the deployment YAMLs for deploying on Kubernetes, for deploying on Docker Compose or any platform, which the end user will prefer, based on whatever he or she has access to.
Yeah, right. So the kubeconfig file is the kubeconfig file, but then it might indeed need some review on what YAMLs we are using within the, let's say, the files. So, but you could create that here. You could like feed, and you mentioned it, but you could feed like these parameters YAML file that are external, and you can read them. And so like that, you are targeting whatever platform you want afterwards. That is further down the line, definitively, because I didn't have time to really have a look. But the base, let's say, of the cloud native bundle is there already. So that's a good point. So we have really a base now that we can work on and just, yeah. And hopefully it will motivate others to see what CNAB is, because it might help you. I used Docker app here. It was easier, like I said, during the dev meeting. And the other kind of, it's not really the bundle, but the other way to do it is with Porter, and I will also do it. It's a little bit different. It uses mixins instead, so the approach is a little bit different, but might be maybe more talkative to other persons. Let's say I don't have really favorites, but Porter for me was really something that led me to this CNAB. So that's in my heart my preferred, but don't say Docker. But Docker app was definitely the first, however, that I tested. and that was really, if you know the Docker experience, you just like continue and it will feel like home, really.
Excellent. Is Gunjan still here? Okay, looks like he had to drop. No worries. Awesome. Thank you, Dheeraj. So, now that was a great demo by Nuno. And honestly, I don't think I have a demo that would beat that, but I have a very tiny demo. I can even push it further, but before that, Nuno actually was open for questions. So, do you guys have any questions for Nuno?
Yeah, I have a question. If the Cloud Native application bundle, you use it in the demo for install a Meshery dashboard, or you are presented like a new feature of Meshery?
No. That's a good question. No. The point of view is here. I bundled Meshery. Okay. So you will see Meshery today. You can use it or should use it with the binary Meshery CTL. Okay, the command line, and it will actually do exactly the same as this Docker app. The out of cluster, at least. Okay, the first part. My Meshery swarm is like a copy of what Meshery CTL does. Meshery CTL does more. It has versioning, or you can see the versions, and you have statuses, and it's like helping you to deploy Meshery quite fast. This Docker app is just another method to install if you want.
Oh, and that's the way that consists the Cloud Native application bundle, I think.
Yeah, it's an installer, or it's an helper installer for the cloud native applications. Okay, Meshery is one. Cloud native applications or containerized applications, or applications that go to Kubernetes, for example. From time to time, you might need some Helm, you might need some Terraform, you might other tools, right, to have your, let's say, your application deployed somewhere. So the cloud native application bundle, what it does is like it will allow you to actually bundle all these small pieces together, and with just one, let's say, line, it will deploy everything for you. In Docker app, I don't know how to do. That's important. I don't say they cannot do, but I don't know how to do. But with Porter, once I will do the demo with Porter, Porter and the mixins are, you can project yourself, my guess, because it's a bit more visual in the terms of how it separates or splits like every layer of the application that you need to install. Okay.
Oh, awesome. And you are a contributor, or you are the creator, or?
No, at all. I invite you to go to synap.io first. I put the link in the Meshery notes. I'm not a contributor per se. I'm more a user, and that's what I will always be saying. I'm the crazy user that goes and tests things and report bugs if needed. But I don't know how to code, so I'm definitely not a contributor per se, like that, like in the strict development term. I'm more a contributor, yes, in terms of I'm part of the community, and I talk with maybe the devs from time to time, see what's in the future. So yeah.
Oh, awesome.
All right,
I have
guys.
one.
Any other questions?
Just one more question, sir. So, I just wanted to know, like, to what extent do we need to know Docker, Kubernetes, and Golang for this example?
So Golang, none. I don't know Golang, so you can take this out already. YAML a little bit, but there's so much examples that you can just base yourself, I would say, on it. Kubernetes, I'm okay. I know a bit. I'm definitely no Girish here. I know a bit about Kubernetes, but let's say more the basics. Docker itself, you might not need to know much, let's say, just the basic commands like docker ps, docker images, and just to understand what is happening behind the scenes. But that's all. And the Docker app, as you could see, is like I run like 3 commands: Docker app install, Docker app upgrade, Docker app uninstall. Done. Okay, so it's not even, let's say, very, very complicated to get into it. Okay, now what you need to have is really an installation. Even Docker desktop, like I said, you can use your Docker desktop install vanilla, and then just enable Kubernetes if you are, let's say, on a Mac, which I'm not. And all my demo was on PowerShell, by the way, so I'm quite proud. So for the Docker persons that will see it, it was on PowerShell.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I mean,
Windows will win. Windows will win. No. I could have done in WSL, but no, I stay strict to PowerShell this time. No, but sorry, I diverge. No, you need to know the basics and to have an installation going on. Once you do have that, seriously, it's not that complicated. If I could do it, really, it's like, and I'm not into development or nothing. It's more like logic and of course, if you have questions or everything, if you want to start the Slack channel, I will be there. I will be answering as much as I can. Of course, my daily work doesn't allow me to be there, but during my hobby time, I will be there answering questions anyway if needed. And on the Slack, you have also the cloud native Slack that you can just join and have a look.
That's awesome. And no, like after we get the recording posted, you should send it to the Docker guys and tell them that, like, you use PowerShell and ask them to look at it.
No, I told them. He was like, Sylvain is waiting on a feedback. He could not join today, but nice. I was like, I will do it PowerShell. He was like, what? You lost me.
Nice. Awesome, guys.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the information. It was very helpful, sir.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? We have 8 minutes. I only need like 2 minutes. But if you guys want to talk about something else, feel free to bring it up now. I know we did. I mean, like some of the members had to leave early, so unfortunately, like we had to kind of let them go earlier. But now there are like about 8 people here, including me. So if you guys want to bring up some other topic for discussion, feel free to. While that's going on, I'm going to start sharing my screen.
Yeah. So Girish.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah. Hi. It's a great demo, here. And while looking at that one, I just realized that in the Docker Compose YAML of Meshery, I need to bring in, CPX adapter I need to change the Docker Compose YAML to bring the CPX adapter content there.
Gotcha.
So
yeah.
I just realized that one.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So I'm not sure whether there is any GitHub issue raised for that one. I'll just try to look around, but if it is right, just maybe you can assign it to me. Maybe by next week I will push those changes in our for the Meshery.
Wonderful.
Get that status.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Dheeraj. Yeah, that'll be wonderful.
Yeah. So that's it.
Cool. So
thank you.
Presenting my screen. Let me know if you guys can see my community meeting minutes.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, marvelous. So I'm going to bring it into the recording view. So the demo which I wanted to show today is actually called the provider UI. Now, before I jump into this, let me ask the members here who have used Meshery. Did you guys know that there were multiple providers in Meshery before? Or have you heard about we talking about providers before? No, gotcha. No. Yeah, no, it's understandable. I mean, so the point was this. So this was about I would say 2 months back. One of the things we did was we wanted to actually bring in support for what's called a local provider. And now what that meant is that people who have used Meshery have always had to go through the social login screen, where so right when you go to Meshery, it will take you to the social login screen, and then you will have to choose between one of the social authentication methods that are available. And then once you choose it and enter your credentials, you'll be brought back to Meshry UI, right? So this has been the flow. Now, and I know many of you guys here know that we are planning on taking Meshry to CNCF. So one of the things with taking a project to CNCF is that, I mean, now since it's going to be, or hopefully going to be a CNCF project, they probably might have second thoughts about projects which use a social auth to log in. Plus, many of you know that, so the main purpose of the social login is actually to, send your load test results to, to a Meshry Cloud instance where, we don't do anything, we just anonymously store the results. So that way, when you log in, come back to see your results, you'll be able to see it from, next time. And again, compare your previous results and so on and so forth, which is one of the capabilities Meshry has been providing for some time. So one of the things we wanted to do was also bring in this concept of a local provider, wherein, it will cut all the connections to a remote provider, but rather, provide capabilities for storing your results and keeping the session and everything local. Now, this has been around for some time, but then we kept it under the rugs, because there was an extra flag that was needed to run Meshry in that particular mode. But yeah, we haven't publicized about it. So now one of the things we recently did, again, as a step towards taking Meshry to CNCF, is actually that now instead of having that as a flag, as a start time argument, or like an environment variable, we wanted to bring in that experience when Meshry starts so that people will have the choice of what provider they want to use when they are running Meshry. So what I'm going to be presenting now is actually one such work, where we have tried to create a new UI for the provider choices, which will be presented at first, and based on your choice of your provider, the rest of Meshry's behavior will adapt. But from an end user perspective, you'll probably not see any difference, because if you use a cloud provider, your results are going to be persisted remotely. Your session is going to be part associated with a remote one. And at the moment, these are the two things, and of course, your preferences will be persisted, and so that when you log into Meshry from a different machine, use the same credentials, use the same social auth with the same provider, your settings, your preferences, your results, etc., will be universally available. So that is one of the advantages of using a cloud provider. So but then sometimes people do want a local provider. And one of the, again, use cases which, benefits from this local provider concept is actually the capability of running Meshry from a CI system. Like just from your terminal, people can use a curl command to run tests. Now, this wouldn't be possible with the cloud provider. So the local provider does have some advantages, but the cloud provider does have much more. So, but what we wanted to do is bring it up front to the user and let them make the choice. So now, so if you see here, I just went to localhost 9081, and immediately I'm taken to a screen where it presents, hey, this is Meshry, please choose a provider to continue. Now you can see I have two choices here. The one is a default local provider, and the other one is a Meshry cloud provider. Now right next to the cloud provider, there is a drop down. Now the reason why we are doing this is that we have this capability to dynamically support multiple cloud providers. So in the sense that Nuno might want to persist the results in his own instance of Meshry Cloud, or some like the Austin students, or the UEM Jaipur students want to create a cloud provider of their own. Now in those situations, there is very little work that's required, and once you do that and put the code as part of Meshry has a capability to kind of understand that, and on the page load, in this dropdown, you'll start seeing all those providers. So that way you guys can dynamically choose from one. But now at the moment, since I'm only testing with one cloud provider, I only see one, and that's automatically selected for me. So when I select the Meshry cloud provider, you can see you are taken back to your old flow where you have to pick one of your authentication methods, and then you have to authorize, and once you're authorized, you'll be taken into the application, right? So, and then you can see here on the right top, you can see my avatar is brought in here, and then if I go to the results page, you can see all the results, like, of mesh-free, like, which I already had. So this is the existing flow which you guys are familiar with. So now I'm going to log out, and you can see you'll be immediately brought back to the provider page. And now if I choose a local provider, you can see here on the right top, you can see this is no longer my user, but rather, since it's a local provider, they only support, like, one user, and that user is automatically logged in. And now if you go to the results page, you can see there is nothing. So if I run tests now, they will be persisted on my local. But then if the local copy is blown away, or if you try to run mesh-free on a separate machine, on a different machine, you will probably not see the results, because the results are not stored globally. They just stored locally on that one machine, and so on and so forth. And the same thing with preferences. Like, if I already had any Kubernetes or service mesh preferences, or metrics preferences, like, those things will not be persisted across the board. While in the case of the cloud provider, that will happen. So which means once you make a choice in one machine, or in one user session, if you try mesh-free in a different machine, different instance, in a different machine, like wherever in the world, since the information is coming from the cloud provider, you will have them across machines. So which is kind of a nice thing to have. So, but in the case with local provider, you will not have that. So this is actually one of the changes, like, which we recently did. And we call this concept like providers, and so we called one the local provider and the other one a cloud provider, and now there can be multiple cloud providers. So this is kind of like one of the major changes that was recently done. It required some changes to the underlying way the process has been functioning, which is like when the project starts, or like when your session with mesh-free starts, like a provider has to exist. And the provider information is carried forward, like across requests. And yeah, so there were quite some interesting changes that happened for this change to work. So that's pretty much the demo, like I had for you guys. But now I'll open up for questions, and let's go from there. We are already 2 minutes past the time. I'm really sorry.
Really nice, Girish. Just a quick question before I go take my training also. Does the cloud provider allow, let's say, application or service principal accounts? So the same team could maybe use the provider with the same account, so they could like see the performances that have been run in the past. Is that the goal, or am I wrong?
No, that's perfect actually. So this is kind of where we will be eventually bringing in the concept of a tenancy. So by tenancy, like so the thing is, we will start bringing in the concept of tenancy, like or like in which like a company will probably be a tenant, or a group may be a tenant, and all the users in that group can actually share their results, share their preferences, and so on and so forth. Yes, we are definitely going towards that, and this is also inclined towards that. Yes, you are correct.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome, guys. Any other questions? If there is none, like before we take off, like I just wanted to bring to light the issues that were open this week and the issues that were closed this week. You can see the team has done a wonderful job, like so there are definitely like quite some issues that are open, but you can see there's almost an equal amount or slightly more number of issues that were closed this week. So that's a phenomenal thing. All thanks to the community members, like who've been doing like wonderful job here for working on the issues and getting them closed. All right. So if there are no more questions or no other points to discuss, let's call it a day. And thanks a lot for being patient with me for 4 minutes past the end time. And you guys have a great weekend, and see you guys next week.
Thank you, Girish. Thank you, the crowd. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Happy Friday, guys. Yeah, happy Friday. Yeah, see you guys.
Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Bye. Yeah, bye, guys.
Have a good weekend. Thank you.
Yeah, see you guys.